across the hills of Caroline. I feel something in the air, a new song is on my mind. The sweet melody I hear was sent from heaven above. The song that I'm singing is of everlasting love. Oh, it's a new day for living life, a new day to get it going. Open the windows of your heart and let His love give you life.
Welcome to Cooking with Miss O. Let's join Mary Beth Oxendine in the kitchen as she teaches you how to cook Southern style healthy.
Welcome to the second part of Cooking with Miss O. I hope you were with us last week. If not, you can go to my website. It's Mary Beth's Kitchen, no apostrophe on the S.com, and then you could see the first show that we did last week. And this is a continuation, and I have my friend Gus Arrendale here, that is the president of Springer Mountain Chickens, and he was so gracious to invite Marie Pritchard and I over there, and we've got to go through the whole place. And I'd been using them for years, and I asked him if he would be interested in sponsoring our show and coming on our show, because I know that he has the best chicken in the South. I used to have to get my chicken from Colorado because there was nothing in the South here. And you're just right there in Georgia.
Well, thank you, Mary Beth. And we've told your audience before, too, that we like you so much, and we're so impressed with you, and you came to us. You've been using our chicken for years, and we didn't know that, and you told us that, and what better testimonial than that. And you came to us, we didn't come to you, so I want everybody to know that we're not trying to hawk our chicken or something. No, Mary Beth came to us, and you're just so honest, and that's what we preach, is honesty, living clean. You are what you eat, and we feel like that our chickens are what they eat, and all we feed our chickens is an all vegetable diet. Is corn, soybean, a little vegetable oil, and that's all they get. And little vitamins, they get that, but no artificial ingredients, no meat meal, no bone meal, nothing like that.
And I'm going to show you. Look at this. This is the chicken we cooked last week, and we've taken it out. And this time, Gus and I are going to have some of this. Well, actually, it aired last week, but we taped this one right after.
Yes.
So that's why I don't want y'all to think we're eating week-old chicken here.
No.
But then this is what I do, ladies. After I do that, I stick all of what's left, and I could have picked this a little cleaner, and I put it in a crock pot. I cover it with water, and then I put some garlic cloves in it, and I put an onion here. And then I just let it simmer. And if you have fresh parsley, put fresh parsley in there. I put celery in there if I want. I put a carrot in there if I want. Anything you want to do. But I do just garlic and onion if I'm using it, not for soup or something like that. I'm just using it to put in, like with rice. Sometimes I make my rice with the broth from this. I do my chicken pot pies with it. And when my daughter was so sick, it was this broth that I made with this kind of chicken that made my daughter so get better so fast with the grains and of course the Lord. So I want to tell you, if you have somebody sick, somebody that's come out of surgery or something, or they've got that stomach virus that goes around all the time with school kids, and we have so many people in my family that are teachers and all, if you do this broth, then they still get strong, they haven't had the chemicals, and they get well faster. Actually, and with less antibiotics.
Yes.
And for 18 years, my daughter and I didn't have an antibiotic when we changed eating like this. Is that not amazing?
And thank goodness.
I'm going to throw this in here if that's all right. I shouldn't say throw. I'm going to scrape it into here. That's the bones and everything, y'all, because when you have chicken, remember I tell you the broth is clear. That's how you can tell there's no chemicals. I've had chicken where the broth isn't clear, but it's not as yellow either. Now, I'm going to make it look a little yellow because I'm going to put a yellow onion in it, and you leave part of the skin on. But get an organic one because you don't want any of the chemicals in that skin. And I'm going to put that in there too. I'm going to do the organic garlic. I'm going to do probably about 5 cloves. Okay. And then, Gus, we're going to put water on this. Then I put it on high till it gets hot. Then I can turn it down to medium, Gus. And then I can, I have all this broth, and I put it in the freezer. I put it in quart-size freezer bags. But first, and all of this is going to be on the website. And Gus, when I do that, y'all, on the Springer Mountain Chicken, this has been so amazing. I don't know if you know this. But when I do this with this, usually I have to let it sit at least 24 hours in the refrigerator so that all the fat rises to the top. Well, there is so little fat in your chicken, and it is so, and that's wonderful, you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing yellow that comes out,
no,
and I love this.
And that is not by chance. It is a formulation in our feed where we want it like that. And I would like to say this too.
Gus, I'm going to ask you, this is heavy.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you put that in that pot for me, please?
I would be glad to.
I shouldn't have had it so far away.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That
do
is
this
heavy,
without
isn't it?
making everybody laugh on the show.
I know, I was afraid I was going to drop it. Okay, I get it about this full, y'all. And Gus, we're going to go ahead and make some gravy here too with the leftover juice. I have these onions in here, and I take all of this. But first what I do, and I'm going to show y'all how to make easy gravy here. Now, you can do this. A lot of times this juice, I will set overnight, this juice here, and don't put it in my gravy, and I take down a bag of when I bake the chicken. So I'm getting bags of chicken broth from this, and then bags that I can make from the chicken that I can make gravy with. But I used to have to leave that over for 24 hours till the fat rose to the top.
Rises.
But now I can use this straight because there's just no fat. It's
That is great.
amazing.
I
I
would
love
like
this.
to touch a little bit on, you're talking about your daughter, and it's a fantastic story about how you healed her without medicine and with healthy food and eating right. And as we have said before, you are what you eat.
Right.
And there are billions, with a B, billions of dollars spent on antibiotics all over the world. In the United States, the big profit maker for the drug companies is not giving antibiotics to humans. It's to chickens, to cows, to pigs. And there is a lot of research that says that by you eating it passes along in the meat when they feed them antibiotics.
It does.
Yeah, and it's not because they do it for fun or something. It's economics. It costs more to make an antibiotic-free chicken or a pig or a cow, but it's worth it. And I really do believe, and there's research to back it up, that we don't need to feed antibiotics to our animals because it passes on resistance to your children or to me and you by eating it. And then thank goodness you don't. And I think you'd mentioned to me that your child and you also had not eaten or taken antibiotics in a while. Well,
Yes,
I think the reason is because you're healthier, and then thank goodness that you haven't.
And because the other thing, Gus, is women aren't taught today, doctors don't even know this, that if you do, when my daughter would get sick, they would tell us popsicles and Coke and ginger ale and all that.
Yes.
Well, sugar, I've learned, actually decreases the immune system.
Yes.
So instead of you getting stronger and getting well, your immune system goes down even further, not just from the sickness, but from the sugar you're adding to it. So there's no way you can get better quick. And that's why you end up with the ear infections. That's why you end up, my children would end up in the hospital having to have IVs because they get dehydrated. So if you instead do the right things, when they're throwing up a whole lot, and I have to say that right here, then you need to do ice with fresh lemon about every 15 minutes. I have that in my cookbook too on the sick thing, until their stomachs are okay. And then you need to do mild foods that have a protein content. We're going to have brown rice today, and with that, there's protein. So I would make this broth and put brown rice in. I would put a little bit of the chicken in, and I would just do those two, and the celery would have cooked in the broth. If beforehand, if I did that today, I'm just doing garlic and an onion broth. But the celery is excellent for that too. And by the way, celery is a great thing to eat. It lowers blood pressure. Okay, and now let me tell you this. I've got the whole wheat flour I ground. You saw me grind it.
Yes, and that is great. It's wheat berries.
It's wheat berries.
Wheat berries, and I'll tell you one thing that I've learned from watching your shows also. It's wheat berries. You grind it, and you haven't got your grinder right here. It's
behind you, right there.
Right back. The grinder back there, and it stays good for 3 days.
That's
is
right.
what it does. It's got good nutrients for you. And to back another thing you said about how people, when I was a kid, they said that's what my mother would go to the drugstore and get Coke syrup. You got sick and give you straight Coca-Cola syrup, something like that. But I guess what gets me is, and to your audience, to our customers, to you, whatever happened to home economics that was taught at high school?
I know
they
that.
don't, you know, they used to, well, they say, you know, wash your chicken and good food safety practices, they're not taught anymore. They're not.
Because nobody cooks anymore.
Because nobody cooks anymore.
We
So
have
bless your
restaurants
heart,
everywhere.
that is correct, but nothing better than a home-cooked meal. And nothing brings the family together like a home-cooked meal.
Well, let me tell you, I read something that most families don't even eat one meal together. When my kids were, you know, growing up and with Tom alive and everything like that, we ate every meal except the ones that were at school, Tom and Josh, because Marie was homeschooled. Lunch was the only meal we didn't eat together.
And
Isn't that
my
amazing?
family, we always ate breakfast together. My mother, my dad, my sister, we always had breakfast. And sometimes if you were running late or didn't get ready for school or something, you might miss that, but it's mandatory you made dinner.
That's
I mean,
right.
no ifs, ands, or buts.
And we didn't do activities. The kids had activities. They could have one a year.
Yes.
If they wanted one. But most of the time they'd rather play in the yard. But if they did, it could not interfere with dinner time.
No, like I said, it was no.
And we did devotions at dinner.
Yes,
right
we
there.
did. Yes,
Did y'all
we
too?
did too. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it makes a difference.
It
doesn't
does make a difference. Food tastes
really
better.
Does. It does,
That's
doesn't
right.
it? That's
Chance
right.
you might not get sick.
And Gus, we got to go to another
Okay.
commercial break. Okay, thanks. Let me get some water in there. Gus, I'm going to show you how to make gravy. This was one of the hardest things. As y'all saw before the commercial, this is brown, the flour, my whole wheat flour, and it's brown naturally. So when I first got married, everybody told me I had to put soy sauce in there to get brown gravy. And so I have to put soy sauce. All I do is the whole wheat flour. I do a little bit of sea salt and a little black pepper if you want to, but we had so much on the chicken, I don't usually do that. Then all I do is put it in a pan. And make sure it's a pan that's pretty thick on the bottom, stainless steel, so that you don't scorch it. And then I put it on there until, Gus, it starts to, let me get the rest of that out. Here we go. Until, and Gus, I'm going to have you doing this if you don't mind while I'm doing this. Would you just slowly?
I've been wanting to help.
Oh, good. And
so
I'm
bad.
sorry.
I did.
I'm
Wash
sorry.
my hands.
Here you go.
Okay,
go at it.
Okay,
Try it.
you
don't need this. You just need
don't want to
this.
look more professional with that. Okay.
Now,
okay, now
just
just whisk.
that. Yeah, just slowly whisk. And what I'm going to do, excuse me for reaching over you,
ma'am.
I'm going to get this broth. So when that starts to thicken up, we're going to put that in here. I have this thing I bought at Walmart. It's very thin holes to it, so it just takes out anything. And when we do that, I'm going to hold it over there. Let me turn that up a little bit. Now, whole wheat flour will clump quick and burn on the bottom if you don't have one of your kids or somebody stirring it. You don't have to stir it.
Thank you for that tip, because you have got me sold on wheatberry. You do.
Really?
Yes,
Well,
you do.
I'm going to teach him how to make bread. I want to tell Dale at Springer Mountain Chicken, he's going to learn how to cook, Dale. Okay? Is that all right?
Great. He does. His wife would really appreciate you. I think she'll send you a fan letter.
Will she? Is she a great cook?
I imagine she is, because he doesn't look like he's missed a meal.
He looks like a happy man. I think
He's
she
a
must be a
happy man.
wonderful
That's
lady.
right.
That's right.
He's a
You can
happy
tell
man.
when a man is happy. He smiles all the time like
He
you,
does.
Gus.
He's
And
very
Susan. Susan is precious.
Thank
And
you. Susan
David.
is precious. And David
I
is
just
too.
love them. And your cooks at the kitchen down there where we ate, they are dogs.
Well, everybody takes a lot of pride in what they do at Springer Mountain Farms, and everybody
they really
treats
do.
us like it's their own company.
Well, you know.
And it brought them to the dance, and they appreciate that. And they do. And maybe this is thickening up.
Is it good?
Yes.
Good. You see how it does now? This is live flour. So in live flour, even without yeast, it will bubble up when I'm making waffles and you don't even use yeast, and it grows. This grows. Now, you see how thick it's getting? Now what I'm going to do is pour a little bit of this in my pan. Let me tell you about my pan first. I get this at Walmart. This is the best roasting pan you can buy. It's old-fashioned, and it does it the best. Now, I'm going to put a bunch of this in for flavor.
That's really looking
now,
good.
Now, if you will stir that,
okay.
please.
All right,
we might need a little more.
I'm back.
And I'm going to cut this back down again.
All right.
There, is it getting too thick for you?
No, it's really good, and I love it when I can contribute. If I weren't here, somebody would have to be doing this.
Yes, they had to. So you
so
came
I'm
here just
adding
for
value.
this. Yes, you are.
Okay.
We needed you. Here we go. Now, now this is a healthy broth. Some people have to add fat back into their diet. At one point after Tom died, I lost so much weight that I had to have some fat because I had lost all my fat, and I don't have much anyway. But
no, you can. I don't. Either you've got a very strenuous exercise program, or you don't eat what you cook a whole lot.
No, but see, when you eat this, see, the wheat throws it through the colon, and nothing stays on you because you're eating whole foods that are live.
Well, you're a good testimonial to that.
So, and Tom, when he finally started eating here totally that way, he loved it. But at school, he had to, you know, when he'd go to ball games and stuff, And he did it because the doctor recommended it. He said, Tom, go home and just eat what Mary tells you to eat. That's what he said. Dr. Gentry said that, and they're friends of ours. And
I was about to say, good Dr. Gentry.
Yes, and in 6 weeks on my cookbook, I just cooked totally that. But then he had bread and gravy like this. He lost 36 pounds in 6 weeks.
36?
Yes, and his cholesterol went to almost totally, well, it went to normal, but lower than normal. And it wasn't even that high, though, because he ate most of the way like that.
All right,
Let me add a little water to this now.
Okay, I was just about to say, does the speed of the whisk or...
No, you're fine. You do great here. And then, here we go. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that. The flour just thickens so much.
It sure does.
It really does.
It was just like milky substance. And
now, it'll get a little bit yellow this way because of the spices and stuff I had in it. So if you don't want the yellow, leave this broth over. But, of course, I couldn't do that on here today. Leave this broth in the refrigerator and then put it in your packets. I usually need about a half a cup of this for a gravy. So you put it in half a cup packets in the refrigerator, just pour it in your, wait till it's cool, pour it in your freezer bags. Wait till this is cool and pour it in your freezer bags. This will probably take about 8 hours, and then it will condense down, and then you put that in the refrigerator so it cools down, and the next day put that in your packets. You're not doing it because you have to get rid of fat so much. You have to do it just to cool it down so the packs won't melt. And then you lay them flat in your freezer whenever you want to do a rice that has chicken broth in it or a homemade soup. If somebody's coming out potato soup, I do potato soup with chicken broth. Anything you want to do, gravies, chicken pot pie you need it for. And if somebody's sick, it's great. Especially if you get sick too and the children are sick and your husband's sick, you've got that broth you can pull out. And they can just drink it. That's exactly right. It's the best for cold. It's the best for all of that. Here we go. Now, we're going to serve up and have us some chicken and carrots and lima beans. Now, with the lima beans, it's like I've done before, y'all. I do this from the freezer at Ingles. Now, I used to be able to get those from a farm, but it's only doing privately now. But for years, I put up all my own beans, too. And it was great. But
and if you don't mind repeating yourself for me, and on some other shows I've seen you talked about the healthiest beans that you had.
Yes.
What were the
pinto
lima beans, pinto beans?
Pinto bean is the healthiest.
Pinto
all the rest of them are about the same. All beans are healthy.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, then what's the difference between that and a pea? Like a black-eyed pea?
A black-eyed pea is very healthy, too.
English peas.
English peas are very healthy. They all have different nutrient values, and what I try to do on my website is tell different things. I try to tell the nutritional value and what it does for you. If you look at that, now we've got that up, and we're going a little slow, y'all, but we're doing good with it. I've got a wonderful young man, Tobe, here at the station that's doing that for me, and I give him the information, but I'm trying to show them. Like when you eat carrots and you eat brown rice and you eat this chicken and you eat these lima beans, because this company, they are really great and Ingles carries them.
Yes.
They do super about putting it straight into the freezer with nothing added to it.
I was just about to say, you don't want it out of the can.
No.
And the can's got a lot of salt, right?
Not just salt, but it's the can. It has a lot of other problems too, and we didn't know that. Now, if you're canning at home canning, in the glass jars,
that's completely
it's fine.
different. I'm talking about the middle of the store.
I don't want to eat anything unless if it's vegetables that are frozen, you do that, or fresh.
Right.
The best way to get it, as soon as it's picked out of the garden, when we were the healthiest as a country, is when we had a garden.
Yes, ma'am.
Families, let me tell you, spring's coming up. This is the time to do a garden. You could not have a better relationship with your children if you would do a garden.
That is for sure, and watch out for the deer. But I've had gardens over the years. I started having a garden with my grandmother years ago.
Oh, did you really?
And yes, and it was the most fun, like you said, and the most binding. And I can remember like it was yesterday, being with her, doing our garden. It really, really is. And nothing tastes any better than the vegetables out of your garden.
Now I'm fixing
and you get such satisfaction out of growing them yourself.
See, and you're healthier because it comes straight from the vine instead of being shipped from California or somewhere. Do you see what I'm saying?
That is correct.
And for stuff, just like the wheat berry, everything has a span of how long the nutrition's in it.
Yes.
And when you do it in the can, it kills most of the nutrition. Now, let me tell you what else kills the nutrition totally, the microwave. Don't ever microwave your food. They've done studies about that, and it totally kills all the nutrition in the food.
Yes, and I don't know this right now, but I think a microwave kind of like changes the molecular structure
That's the
of your food.
Exactly right. That, and two, it can also kill your thyroid if you're anywhere in the room when it's doing it.
Yes.
I got a study on that, and that was
Well,
shocking to me.
I'm bad to say I do use a microwave a little bit, but
Yes.
I know, and I shouldn't. But I'll tell you this: I've got it in the cabinet drawers,
Yeah.
and it's funny they said that because whenever I turn it on, I close the cabinet drawers like so it's going to protect me.
You just do not need to. I don't have a microwave.
I'll unplug it.
Do you know I don't even have a dishwasher?
I'm going to unplug mine.
Now, I don't have a dishwasher or a microwave, and let me tell you about the dishwasher.
Tell me
When
about
my
the
kids were growing up, there's nothing wrong with it. But when my kids were growing up, Tom was going to put one in. I said, no, 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 no. I said, while they're washing dishes with me, I can find out everything going on with their friends and everything, because they talk, and I just have to listen, you know?
Yeah.
And then you
It's
know
kinda
what's
like
going
me.
on. You know?
If you talk long enough,
That's right, you know, and you want them to talk.
Absolutely.
And then they have that time with you. And then sometimes my kids, my daughter would say, Mom, you and Dad go out on the porch, I'll do it. And sometimes I'd drop coins in there, and I said, all right, there's a surprise in the dishwasher.
That's a
you
great
know,
idea.
put some quarters in there, and they love that. Well, just a minute, we'll be going to a commercial break. But Gus, I've just fixed you a plate.
May I try it?
Yes, you may. Let me give you a fork here,
Great.
and a knife.
That's part of the whole show.
Here we go. There you go.
Thank
and
you,
I hope
ma'am.
it is good. And I've got your
Okay.
napkin too.
Okay, and I would like to say this, before that I ever eat my food, and I'm very, very picky about this, I always bless my food.
Yes, sir, I do
Now,
too.
but we had a nice prayer before we started the show, so I'm going to count that in essence of time. I don't want
Thanks
everybody
for
know
saying
that.
that. Nobody
it's
knows we
true.
do
No,
that.
No, and it was very sweet, and you gave a very good prayer, and I am Tiki, nobody eats at my house unless we have the
We do
blessing for
that
the
too.
food. So.
We do too.
Okay.
That's us too.
All right, it's very important.
So we've already prayed, y'all, and we pray before every show, unless me, the redhead, is late. And everybody that knows me understands that. And I'm
Well,
so
then they're
sorry.
saying a prayer to hoping you'll get here on time.
I know. Exactly. I spend a lot of time praying for the show and the people that work here. They're all so good to us. How is it, Gus?
That is excellent. That is the best gravy I've ever had, and
Are you
I have
serious?
that good chicken all the time, and
I know you
because
do.
it's Springer Mountain Farms,
But
and I
didn't
hope
it taste
everybody
just
will
a little
try
bit
that.
better because I cooked it?
It tastes
I'm
the
just
best.
teasing.
No. In fact, you're telling me what I should be saying, and you're right. But this is completely unrehearsed. Completely like that.
And that's what we want,
But
'cause
it
we
is
wanna-
great, and I really love this wheat berry. Now that gravy's made off. That's better than any
Gravy
of those the
Yeah.
3-lettered fast food chicken people gravy, which is great. That's better than I've ever
Really?
had. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
That is.
My mother-in-law and my mother taught me how to make it. And I'm sorry, we got to go to a commercial break. We're having fun here. Sorry. Welcome back, Gus. We're just right at the end.
Thank you,
And I
Mary
just
Beth.
really
I've
want to
had the
thank you
best
for
time.
coming. Thanks for saying
I've
that.
had the best time, and thank you for your support. And everybody out there, please buy Springer Mountain Farms. It's your favorite grocery store.
That's exactly, and Ingles is where I get it from, so y'all remember that. You can get the whole chicken, and then you can get the breast too. And I thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.